Happy New Year and welcome to Let Freedom Ring. We got a special episode tonight. My guest, Bobby Beaulieu, back again. I think this is your fifth appearance. So record-breaking, really.
It is record-breaking. It's also Wednesday, so you know what that means.
It's actually Thursday.
It's Thursday, you're right.
Yeah.
That's what you get for working from home, right?
Yeah. Well, before we get into, because we're going to do something really different on the show, kind of a New Year's treat, something to mix it up a little bit. But before we get in, just want to say this show is dedicated to the memory of John Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper. AEW did a great show last night for him. Sudden passing, very sad. Meant a lot to the wrestling world. Did you get to see the episode at all last night?
I don't have TNT.
Okay.
I refuse to give Comcast any more business than I have to.
Sure.
So I saw it on Twitter.
Okay.
So they did share a lot of it. So yeah, it's a sad day. It was sudden, but I don't know how sudden. It seems like it's been ongoing.
Well, he'd been off TV since sometime in October after he
7th.
Lost the TNT title to Cody. Just out of nowhere. But sad. But you could tell how much people really loved him.
Right.
And a big ups to Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, and all them. What a great episode. Had his son out there. They signed him to a contract when he's old enough.
Yep.
So, but rest in peace, Brodie Lee. Big fan of yours. Got to see you live many times. So, but what we're going to do this week is we are going to break down a few brackets. And we're going to find out the best of the best in certain categories.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? So the first category we want to talk about, and I'm going to go through these are eight thing brackets. Now, a lot of people said, Dan Morris of the Morse Code podcast had said, good luck. 8's not enough. And I think this is going to be controversial because some of these people are going to be like, I can't believe others didn't make the cut.
Yeah. How did the seeding into this go for you? Because I have no idea what any of these brackets are.
A lot of them came off of different websites where I saw what's the best of the best.
You didn't use BuzzFeed, right?
BuzzFeed may have factored in, but it wasn't just BuzzFeed.
Okay.
A lot of different websites. So it's not that I didn't pull these out of thin air.
Fair.
But first, New England franchises. We have the New England Patriots versus the Boston Cannons. We have the New England Free Jackets rugby team versus the Boston Celtics.
Yep.
We have the Boston Bruins versus New England Revolution. Mike Dennis is probably the only one I know that's a fan of them. Yep. And then we have the New England Black Wolves, which is box lacrosse versus the Boston Red Sox. So,
okay,
right off the bat, New England Patriots, Boston Cannons. Who's the top?
It's the Patriots.
I know that's an easy one.
They did win the Cannons, right? They do have a championship, right? The lacrosse
I don't know
team?
if they do. I think
the lacrosse team has a title as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no competition.
I mean, this is somewhat seeded. Some of these are not. Obviously, the Patriots and Red Sox are probably 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would agree that the 8 seed. So
New England Free Jackets rugby, more of a new team, and it's kind of sad because the Free Jackets were really starting when the pandemic. I actually was looking at tickets to go, which I thought would have been fun. We got them versus the Boston Celtics.
It's the Celtics.
Not even close.
Yeah, the only hard part about this is that the Celtics are now going to draw the Patriots. That's
going to be a head-to-head, and
that's
well, and the Celtics are just they are so historical.
And this rugby team's new.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
and this is not a chance there.
No.
We got the Boston Bruins though versus the New England Revolution. This might be the most interesting matchup in round 1.
I guess, but the Boston Bruins are original 8. They have, I think, 8 titles. Don't quote me on that. The Revolution have choked almost as many times as the Buffalo Bills in the championship.
They are essentially the Bills of the MLS.
Of the MLS. Their fan base is, I would say, pretty small. I mean, I think there's more of a following for the Bruins, obviously.
Yeah.
It's really coming down to NHL versus MLS, right?
I mean, if you really look at the teams that were thrown out here, just New England teams. I mean, this does fall as the 5th team, probably.
Yeah, they are definitely the 5th. They're definitely the 5th team.
But there's no way that they're going to beat the Bruins.
No, they don't beat the Bruins. I'm just trying to make a case for them because I feel bad for all those people who.
I hope Mike Dennis watches this episode because he is truly the biggest New England Revolution fan there is.
Yeah, it's just they're not even the biggest team in their own stadium. So
yeah. Now this other one I have New England Black Wolves, which I had to look up. I never actually heard of them. but they're box lacrosse, which I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that means.
They're going up against the Boston Red Sox. I don't think that's.
I don't think we have to waste too much time on
Yeah,
this.
we'll just go Boston Red Sox. But now the Final Four gets a little more interesting. You got the Patriots or the Celtics.
Oh, wow. Legacy and championships are on the Celtics side. It's hard not to be blinded by the last 20 years of the Patriots. This is a tough one. If Tom Brady was still here, I'd probably lean more to the Patriots, but I can't take away from what the Celtics have done over, what, how long has basketball been around? Almost
a long time. I mean, but I have to say a lot of their championships it was a very small amount of teams in the NBA.
That is true. I mean, the Patriots have only been around since 1960. The Bruins have been around since, before that.
Yep.
Man, I don't want to hear from Morris and all those Celtics lovers.
I love the Celtics, but this is easy for me.
I'm going to have to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I love the Boston Celtics, but the New England Patriots in my lifetime have given me more joy. And overall, they're the best. They're probably the best of all the franchises in New England, even though I know this was a rough year.
Yeah. I'd also say one thing, and it's nothing against people like basketball. I think the NBA is garbage anyways, so I was trying not to throw out my bias game there.
Yeah.
I have never cared about the Celtics.
Really?
I will root for them because they're a Boston team, but in the end,
I mean, 08 was fantastic, and
it was great. I watched the playoffs and whatnot, but
all right, so we're going Patriots. They're making it to the finals in this bracket, but now we got the Bruins and the Red Sox. This is a no-brainer for me.
Yes, I'll try to make a case for the Bruins for you. No, their ownership. I hate the Bruins ownership, and but I hate the Red Sox ownership sometimes.
But they've produced.
They have produced recently.
So
the Bruins have produced in multiple decades. But in the end, there is a bigger fan base of the Boston Red Sox. There is a bigger following for baseball, for two sports that are kind of dying. I can't take away from the Red Sox on the Bruins.
I do think that Boston will always be considered a baseball town. And
Yes.
I know a lot of people believe it's become a football town. We're going with the Red Sox. I know there's a lot of diehard Bruins fans in New England, but I think the Red Sox are in the DNA of this region.
Yeah, I mean the Bruins are a silent minority. They just don't have. And Jacobs, just what they just did to Char too, kind of chaps me. I mean, I know what we did to Betts. Betts is a young, talented player, but how do you just say, "Oh, we're not going to pay $795,000 to your 14-year captain"?
Yeah, but I mean, he should retire.
He really should.
He
really should. But
going to the finals, though, now of New England sports franchises, you have. Which came in as the number 1 seed, the New England Patriots, and the number 2 seed, the Boston Red Sox. This, for me, is very tough.
Yeah.
And I've said this many times on this show. At the end of the day, I love baseball. I love football, too, but I grew up, baseball was everything. I mean, to this day, we still play a lot of softball.
I agree.
Seeing Fenway Park for the first time in second grade, I remember seeing the field.
Yeah.
Just mesmerized. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it was like living in this moment.
Right.
It didn't feel real as a young kid. So for me, it is a no-brainer. It's the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox hat, so it'd be hard for me to vote against them. The Patriots, though, I do have, have 12 Patriots jerseys and only 6 Red Sox jerseys, but all 6 of the
football jerseys are a little cheaper, though. I mean, they're both expensive. But it's easy
they are a little
cheaper.
cheaper. I think it's $100. I think I paid $120 for my Betts jersey.
Yeah.
I'll always love baseball. I mean,
there's just something about being at Fenway Park. There's just something about being there. The Citgo sign, the Green Monster, just baseball.
Yeah.
Was life.
I mean, I've been going to Fenway and Gillette almost every year together, and I mean, obviously not this year, and it's a different experience. Gillette Stadium's it's cool. You're gonna tailgate. If you didn't park where we parked, you'd sit in traffic for hours and hours, but I can't root against baseball.
Yeah, and again, I love all these teams except for the one, the some of the ones in the first round that didn't get out.
Yeah.
But I think we're in agreement. The number 1 New England franchise is the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
So that's champion in the first bracket. How'd that went pretty good. I think we.
Yeah, I think we were. It's hard to defend some of these teams because soccer stinks.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was equal. I don't think we had many differing opinions in this.
No, I think that really comes down to it. So now we're going to go into Office episodes.
Okay.
This might be tricky because, Dan Morris can just name off, it was this episode, this was the name of it. I struggle with some of the names.
I do too.
So hopefully you stick out. We have in the first round, we got the Golden Ticket versus The Job. Golden Ticket idea.
Oh, yeah.
The Job is where they're going for the interview at the end of season 3.
Okay, so when the breakup happens.
He leaves Karen Filippelli.
Man, they really screwed that up. The Office could have been so much better if they kept Karen and got rid of Pam.
No, that's for another show.
But the Golden Ticket is by far funnier.
Really funny. Then we have Stress Relief. Obviously, Stanley has the heart attack.
Yep.
It's the roast of Michael Scott.
It has one of the funniest openings, or mid-openings, or whatever it is, that when he has the thing on his face.
Hello, with Dwight and the mannequin.
Yeah.
And then I got...
I know you. Yeah. You were that person in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, Creed. Then you have the disposition. Remember when Jan, going against the company, Michael has to come in, and Michael has to stand up for his girlfriend who doesn't stand up for him.
Yes.
If you remember that.
I remember that. Just go to the next episode.
Dinner Party versus the final episode when Michael Scott comes back.
Yeah.
Dwight gets married.
Yep.
Then we have Broke, which is the Michael Scott Paper Company. Finally beats. Oh God, what's now I'm blanking. The guy that came in from Michael. I can't think. Not Wallace.
I can picture him right now, and I can't think of his name.
Oh God, whatever. Versus the Dundies.
Okay.
Okay, so first, Golden Ticket or The Job?
Golden Ticket.
Yes. I'm going to agree.
The Job was meh.
I don't think The Job was bad. That's where, if you don't like...
I hated the ending.
If you don't like Pam Beesly, then,
I hate the ending, right? I wish they had just got rid of Pam.
There are people that openly weep at that ending, though.
I see Pam and I go, you've made the wrong choice, NBC. What are you doing?
Yeah, but the build was... to Pam Beesly and Jim Halper getting together. We got Stress Relief versus the Disposition.
Stress Relief.
I'm not even going to argue with that. Stress Relief was the first... I remember the first time I saw that, my ribs hurt.
Yes.
When Dwight starts that fire and they're all freaking out.
Yes.
The fire's shooting at us! And,
What are the procedures?
Yeah.
And then the face... Why did you cut his face off?
It was just when you think that episode can't get more ridiculous, it gets more ridiculous. Dinner Party versus the final.
This is tough because the Dinner Party is one of my favorite episodes.
Some people, people love this episode. Some people say this is the #1 episode.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
So you're taking the final?
No, I'm taking Dinner Party. I'm just saying I don't think it's the best.
I don't think it's the best ever, but I would take the Dinner Party. The final
that one night you made everything.
What's that guy's name?
Right. Was it? Oh God.
See, this is tough, guys. I should have.
Tucker? No, I don't think it was Tucker.
Was it Tucker?
I can't remember. I don't know.
Someone
will comment on.
When she gets fired, she says, "Don't let them change you."
Yeah. So we're going Dinner Party.
Yeah, Dinner Party.
The final was amazing.
When she was on the flat screen TV, I literally was dying.
I stand here for hours watching this. All right, then we got Broke, the Michael Scott Paper Company Folds episode.
Yep.
Versus the Dundies. This is
a tough one because the Dundies. Again, Pam ruins that episode for me when she gets hammered.
Okay.
I just don't like Pam. Maybe that's the problem with that episode for me.
I will say this. Season 5 is my favorite season.
Season 5 is great.
My favorite season. Dundies was great. I would take Broke because I love...
Michael Scott Pair Company is one of the best.
When Michael gets the upper hand on them, I was like, oh my God, yes.
And he's like, no, you're done here.
No, yes. Nope, you're done here. Minor. I hardly know her.
Yes.
Yeah, Charles Minor, that's it.
There it is.
I'm going Broke.
Broke is definitely.
Okay.
Because, by the way, these names throw me off because when you said Broke, I thought it was the bankruptcy.
That's what I thought. Yeah, you would think that.
Yeah.
When he's like, I declare
bankruptcy.
But this is Michael Scott Paper Company had no money.
Right.
Golden Ticket or Stress Relief.
Oh, man.
This is super hard. And this is both, again, season 5. The show really hit its peak of comedy. It was so freaking funny that season.
And then he leaves in the next season, season 6, right?
Season 7 he officially leaves.
Yeah. Wow, this is tough. For me personally, stress relief. Because when those clips pop up on Facebook, I just rewatch them every time. Even though the golden ticket is really funny, and then when he gets all mad at Dwight for like,
he's like, "Thank you." I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think stress relief was that was so damn funny.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got dinner party going straight up against broke.
Ooh.
And I think a lot of people, this is going to get controversial, I think, because people love the dinner party episode.
It makes or breaks some people.
You know, but for me, I loved Michael getting the upper hand.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
I loved that.
Yeah, broke. The end of that end of the Michael Scott Paper Company conclusion is better because that's the episode we picked, but it's like a 3-part whole crescendo moment, and the whole time you're sitting going, "This guy stinks. I just want this person off the show."
I also like when is that the episode where Michael goes, "I'm going to steal all your clients and kill them right in front of you"?
No, that's not the same episode.
No, okay, all right.
That's the episode before.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
When he's talking to Dwight, because Dwight was like turned on him.
Yeah.
He threw the fish up in the top part.
And that whole storyline, though, like that was pretty damn
It's
funny.
so good. But it is the episode where he goes, "Oh, I don't care. We have no money. I'll make another company."
And another.
Paper and Michael Scott Company. That's one right there.
Michael, that's another one.
That's another one.
All right, so broke for stress relief. For me, I'm going stress relief. I think that was the absolute funniest episode I'd ever seen in my life.
It's one of my favorite episodes. So yeah, that's
all
for
right.
me.
We're going stress relief. Office greatest episode, and there's gonna be people that are gonna watch this and be like, "I can't believe that," but they start with the beginning with the fire. Stanley has a heart attack. They go to corporate, and you know,
and then Michael sits on the other side of the table from Dwight.
Michael thinks they're on the same page, and then the roast of Michael Scott. You know, what I hate about you really suck as a boss. You're the loser. Yeah, that is stress relief. I'm gonna say this right now, and I'm curious what people say. Greatest episode of The Office.
If
ever.
they have a chance, go see it on Netflix before it comes off tonight at midnight. So
I own them all, so
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about it. All right, we're gonna go into gangster movies, mob movies.
okay, so this is. I just need to know the line. Is it Italian mob movies or is it like?
Yes, it's
Okay.
it is.
So it's
when I think of the mafia,
like American Gangster is not on this list.
No, and people really like that. It's okay.
It's okay. I mean, it's got its
Denzel
moments.
is always great, but
Yeah.
this is.
But I just want to know.
These
what
are
the criteria-
Italian gangster movies.
Okay.
That's what I feel are mafia movies.
Yeah.
Because
Those are the true mafia, right?
no, those. I can't even. I'm messing.
Los Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know if they start with the Los. But whatever. It's Italian, not But
Well,
all right.
I mean, they're Italian and Spanish are very close together. They're both
Yes.
Romance languages.
Yes, I mean we're part Italian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I took
a lot.
Italian in college for a full year.
Yeah.
I spent probably $2,000 on tutors so that I get through it because I did not learn anything except how to swear.
It's a tough language. But
Yes.
here we go.
Okay.
In the round one, we got The Godfather versus Gotti, and I'm talking Armand Santi Gotti that was made by HBO.
Yes. The Godfather.
Well, say that. I just want to go through them.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Now, I
sorry.
did not put in A Bronx Tale in here because I think there's more to that. It is one of my all-time favorite
Fair.
movies. I did not put it in.
Fair.
And I'm sorry, this is not just Italian. I threw something else in there because
Oh, okay.
I thought it had to be. Then I got Casino versus The Departed.
Okay.
So it's not all Italian.
Right.
I kind of misled that.
That's fine.
I only created this and forget. But Goodfellas versus The Untouchables, or Scarface and Godfather 2. So we're going to go first one, Godfather versus Gotti.
The Godfather. I mean,
Not going to argue there.
is it long? Yes. Could it have been cut into 2 movies? Probably.
Yeah.
Will I watch it every time it's on TV, even though it's a 6-hour movie? Yes.
Gotti's great. That's the best depiction of John Gotti
Yes.
ever.
Agreed.
But it's not The Godfather.
No.
Casino versus The Departed.
This is tough. I personally like Casino better than The Departed. I like The Departed. I also think I might have overdid The Departed in those first couple of years.
I'm biased to The Departed because it's based in Boston.
true.
However, De Niro and Pesci are the 1-2 punch. And
It is.
I would go Casino.
It is so good. Like, oh man,
I will bury you in the desert.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Half the lines we can't say on television.
No, I'd love to requote anything Joe Pesci.
Yes.
Nicky was just this great character, and when he gets killed, Nicky was this horrible, horrible human being.
The first time I saw it, I did not see that coming. I had because he's talking over it.
Yeah.
Like, you've no idea it's coming.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate that scene. Didn't
I
want
did
him to
too.
be killed, even though this is this horrible person. Which
It hurts because you have a brother, and it's like as if you'd have seen your
kill
own
them
brother.
together. Yeah,
there.
and then they kill you.
Yeah. They don't even kill him. They leave him with an inch of his life and bury him alive.
Buried him alive. That was crazy.
Good movie, though.
Goodfellas are the Untouchables. For me, Goodfellas, it's not even close. I like the Untouchables, but...
Yeah, no, it's Goodfellas. I mean, the Untouchables is good. There's some good quotes in it. But if you actually go back and watch Untouchables, part of it, it's kind of a little cheesy.
Yeah.
You know, like when they raid the...
Sean Connery's good in it, though. Kevin Costner's good in it.
He's great in it. Both of them were... No, they were all great, but there are some scenes that are, like, wicked cheesy, like when they raid the distillery or whatever, and they have that, like, upward toning music.
Yeah. I do enjoy it. It's in my collection.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Now we got Scarface, which I love. Scarface versus another movie I love, The Godfather 2. Now, Scarface is made in the 80s. Cuban, it comes from Cuba over. It's a remake from the early 1900s or around there. I don't know the exact year. Someone's going to have something to say. But as much as I love Scarface, Godfather 2 is
Godfather 2. I don't like Scarface.
I love that movie.
I did like Scarface, the video game, on PlayStation 2. That helps.
I don't like when he kills Manny, though. That really...
No.
That was,
yeah,
but it is a wonderful movie.
It has some good moments. Godfather 2 is one of my top movies of all time.
And the thing is, that Godfather 1 and 2 were the 1 and 2 seed in this.
I did that thing where you're supposed to be like on an island and you can only bring to some of the movies that you'll want to watch all the time. 3 of these movies are on there.
All right, well, Godfather and Casino.
This is tough. I'm trying to think which one will give the other side of the bracket a run for its money. I'm going to go Casino.
Okay.
Only because the Godfather, as good as it is just that much too long. Like, it's just that there's some parts where they didn't... The ending's great. The beginning is great when he starts to turn over, but there is a part where it's just like, guys, sandwich this together. I know it's listed as one of the greatest movies of all time. I just think Casino, from start to finish, never really just veered away from the main story and adding things on top.
I do have to disagree with this. I think Godfather is the better. But you are the guest, and I am the host, and I want to respect. We're gonna go. We'll put Casino into the finals. So this is gonna get a little crazy because if you disagree, now we're gonna have an issue here. I think.
No,
because you got Goodfellas versus Godfather 2.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love both of these, but Goodfellas is my favorite movie. So I cannot go against it.
Goodfellas is better than Godfather 2. Godfather 2 is great. Goodfellas is better.
Okay. All right, fine. Then we agree. We agree. So now we got Martin Scorsese. He's got 2 movies in the finals.
Right.
This is people are gonna be like, I cannot believe one of the Godfathers had to be in the finals here, but they're not.
They're not.
This is Left Freedom Ring, and if you feel free to comment on that. But I got Goodfellas all day.
I have Goodfellas all day too. That is my favorite movie of all time.
Same here.
I will watch that movie start to finish every time.
It's not even a question. If it's on, I find myself I own it. But if it comes on TV, I start watching it all over again.
I have one of those older DVDs that I can have it in like the smaller picture, and then when you flip the DVD over, it's in the widescreen, and I'll watch it in both. It's
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
All right, so number 1 gangster movie, we got Goodfellas. Now let's go into wrestling tag teams.
All right.
First round, we got Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors versus the Rockers. Hart Foundation versus the New Age Outlaws. The Hardy Boys versus the Harlem Heat. Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys. Legion of Doom or the Rockers. And again, Dan Morris had said, he's like, I can't believe some of the teams you've left off this, but this is what I have for the final 8.
No, I agree. I have not read the chat where he went off about it because I was driving.
It was good.
Obviously.
It was good. He had his points.
So I will look at that after. Legion of Doom.
Not even a question.
Not even a question.
Hart Foundation, the New Age Outlaws.
This is tough. Are we talking Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Just
those
them.
two.
The Hart Foundation was a stable.
I know, but
the tag team.
They came intertwined when they were the Hart.
Oh,
Foundation
they used the same
stable.
name. It was very different.
Oh,
you didn't know?
The New Age Outlaws.
I think for our childhood.
Yeah, and they once Bret Hart didn't need Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
No, and Bret would have been a star, and
regardless,
but Billy and Road Dogg were struggling.
They made their careers on this.
They did. I got New Age Outlaws too.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's gonna be hard.
Yes, this side of the bracket's a lot tougher.
The Hardy Boys, which done it all,
They have.
or the Harlem Heat.
So if I just go on tag team merit alone, it for me is the Harlem Heat. They transcended the industry. They were the first of their kind of group. The Hardy Boys are great, and they had all these major moments. But in the end, Jeff and Matt, it is a small chapter of their bigger career as individual singles.
Well, Booker T does become a huge
He does,
star.
but his brother doesn't.
Yes.
So
I'm with you. If and I had the Hardys as the number 3 seed, but we went to their Hall of Fame induction.
we did.
I have the T-shirt. I love the Harlem Heat.
The Harlem Heat. Their stuff in WCW was just so great. Getting thrown over the top ropes in the disqualification era of WCW. I saw a couple of those matches. I've also been watching a lot more early WCW because I listened to 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff. The Harlem Heat are just so good.
I'm going with that too. Now we got Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys. And we talked about this on all kinds of shows, how far the Dudleys were willing to push it in ECW to really get a rise out of the fans.
Right.
I got the Dudley Boys, and it's really not close to me.
I would take the Dudleys.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian were great. Again, small chapter in both those guys' careers. Yeah. But the Dudley Boys, Bubba had his run in TNA, but Devon never really did anything else except for when he was in that tag team.
And he was in the Aces and Eights in TNA. But
under Bubba Ray Dudley.
And they were Team 3D in TNA.
Right. So they were still a tag team. But again, Devon never broke away, could never get away from it. It always had to come back. Even the Aces and Eights, Bubba Ray Dudley's running it. So
now here's a match that actually happened. Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, or the New Age Outlaws. And for me, it's really easy.
New Age Outlaws for me. The Legion of Doom, when they faced each other, though, as Legion of Doom 2000 with Sonny, that was
No, they faced before that because the Outlaws had started beating up on all the former greats,
Yeah, in 1998.
Yeah, and partly 97. So they wrestled as regular, and then I think the New Age Outlaws actually put them off TV, and then they returned as LOD.
They shaved Hawk's head. Or was it Animal? I think it was Hawk.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going Legion of Doom.
Sure.
Now, I gave you in the last round, Casino, we're going to put LOD in the finals.
Fine.
If that works. Dudleys or Harlem Heat?
Dudley Boys.
Yeah, me too. LOD, this is going to be a problem. And we're going to have to meet somewhere because I have the Legion of Doom as the greatest tag team of all time. I think you're going to disagree here.
I mean, based off this logic, I would have had the New Age Outlaws over the Dudley Boys. So I guess Legion of Doom wins by default.
No. If you feel like the Dudleys, because I got my pick in the last round.
Yeah.
So you got Dudley Boys over LOD.
I mean, I just, for me personally, I didn't really watch the NWA when they started Rise.
Sure.
I didn't really care for them when they did their other small runs in WCW, and I only remember a small portion of their stuff from WWE. So, yes, I will grant you the LOD. I will concede the point to LOD.
Greatest tag team of all time, the Legion of Doom.
I mean, when they drove out, there is that big moment when they drove down at SummerSlam 1992.
Yep, in England.
And then they left.
Well, they had all kinds of stuff going on. All right, let's stick with this. We got some time. We got a couple more that we got to get through. If we're gonna get through them all.
Okay.
So we may have to do kind of a speed round on this one because I think this one we could really go into a lot. New England titles. We got 2004 Red Sox, 2016 Patriots, 2014 Patriots going against the 2008 Celtics, 2011 Bruins versus the 2013 Red Sox, 2007 Red Sox versus the 2001 Patriots. 2004 Red Sox versus the 2016 Patriots. I know the Patriots won in such a crazy fashion, but nothing compares to me to the '04 Red Sox.
I mean, yeah, they broke the curse. I mean, man, the Super Bowl 51. Yeah, no, it's the 2004 Red Sox. I mean,
that's a hard one.
That's a hard one to stand up against. Even if you are the first team to come back from that many points in the Super Bowl, and then your first team ever to win the overtime game in a Super Bowl, and the only how many yards did James White have? I don't know. There's some other records that were in there, but
nothing beats breaking the curse. Nothing, in
my
opinion.
I mean, I agree. I wasn't around the curse long enough, and now that I've been so spoiled, it's hard for me to go back and be like, oh, the curse was broken.
Times have changed.
Times have changed.
We got the 2014 Patriots, 2008 Celtics.
Super Bowl 49 versus the beatdown of the Lakers.
Yeah, and it was really cool because the Celtics finally had a new big three. But for me personally, I remember the Chiefs game where everybody said the Patriots were done. What's his name there? That crappy quarterback.
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer. And Belichick said we're on to Cincinnati, and they never looked back.
No, they didn't. And they overcame 10 points in the fourth quarter against them.
And Malcolm Butler with
that moment in itself. Man, that was such a great Super Bowl.
So we're going 2014?
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing against the 2008 Boston Celtics, but you did kind of like buy the championship.
Well, through trades.
Yeah.
2011 Bruins or 2013 Red Sox. Bruins obviously hadn't won in a long time, but the Red Sox, Boston,
that team was fun.
The Boston bombings. We went to the game where Poppy said, "This is our bleeping city." It was just so much going on emotionally for the city.
Yes.
I would go 2013 Red Sox.
I would agree. I mean, that team was fun. That team was legitimately fun to watch.
They weren't expected to do anything.
They had all the beards and everything. They were supposed to be crap.
I remember when they signed Shane Victorino. That's going to be great. And Shane,
they'll put butts in seats.
Yeah, he really did awesome.
He was great.
2007 Red Sox or 2001 Patriots, the first one.
2001 Patriots.
I think that's pretty easy. This
this
California boy comes to the team.
Yeah,
we don't expect anything,
And honestly, me and Mike just had this conversation. I don't think the 2007 Red Sox, if you go back and look at them, were likable. They were all business.
Yeah, Daisuke Matsuzaka, who
stunk.
I thought, but then he turned it up in the playoffs and World Series. So.
I mean, I just rewatched all those DVDs recently,
Yeah.
And out of all of them, that's the one team I go back and look and go, ugh, I'm glad they won the World Series, but this team was not that likable. And then as they don't shed some of those players, you see why it blows up in 2011. Like, they just weren't a likable group.
Okay, so we're in the semis. 2004 Red Sox, 2014 Patriots.
Oh, this is tough. I feel like we know what's going to happen.
I know where my heart's at.
Yeah, your heart's in the 2004 World Series. I mean, I still think that Super Bowl 49 was... By the way, the second dynasty is better than the first dynasty. And I know some people will argue that the first three Patriots Super Bowls...
Yeah. Oh, you mean after all the Spygate crap, we find out why are they still winning? Another decade later. I'm on 2004 Red Sox, and that's really just not hard for me.
Yeah, you're very dead set on those guys.
Yeah, who are you going with that too, or
I will go with them. Yeah, I mean it's a big moment. Again, all these years later, it's hard for me. Like, I do rewatch 4 days in October every October, so that is a big part of it. The World Series in itself was kind of a letdown because they just steamrolled the Cardinals. But that ALCS, I could just say the 2004 ALCS in itself was amazing. So,
all right. So then 2013 Red Sox, 2001 Patriots. Patriots was really the first one that we really got to see. I was only 2 when the Celtics won in '86.
Yeah, they started it all.
2001 Patriots. Pretty simple. Even though 13 was unbelievable, still this day get goosebumps when I rewatch Poppy that year, saying this is our bleeping city. 2004 Red Sox, 2001 Patriots. Now it's kind of weird because Patriots do it, and then the Red Sox do it. So it was like now we had a taste as New Englanders of a win. I still
it's
though
the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox. Again, it is a Boston. Boston is a baseball town, and I love football. I love what the Patriots did. That was unbelievable. I couldn't believe my team won. We
Right.
beat the Yankees though that year. That was unbelievable. In the
Although
World
we did
Series.
we beat the greatest show on turf, like
did.
on a turf field. It wasn't like they had everything going for them, and the Rams still could do it. You had John Madden saying with a minute 30 they should just play for overtime, and Tom Brady looked down that field and said, "We're going to score right here."
I still don't understand John Madden's logic on that because you just need a field goal.
It's very old school.
You're talking about a guy that was kicking field goals in the snow.
But it was very old school. That's just
yeah.
how old school football was. It
Yeah.
also was right before the real blitz of this wide receiver movement.
All right, so we're going Boston Red Sox, greatest championship in New England sports,
2004.
2004. All right, let's go to, because I want to get through some, and some if we have to pass on, that's okay.
Yep.
Baseball movies.
Well, this is a tough one.
So in the first round, we have Bull Durham versus The Natural, Moneyball versus Field of Dreams, The Sandlot versus Angels in the Outfield, and 42 versus Major League.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot
if
of
there's
similarities.
I feel like I'm missing something, but I did the best I could. We got Bull Durham versus The Natural.
Bull Durham.
Yeah.
That movie is just so good.
Bull
The Natural's good. I'll give you that. The Natural's good, but
Bull Durham's awesome. It's
awesome.
a good look at minor league baseball.
It really is.
And all the characters are fantastic.
and it's more realistic.
Yeah.
You know,
Moneyball or Field of Dreams?
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Moneyball is great. Don't get me wrong. I loved Brad Pitt in it and Jonah Hill. They awesome. But when you're going up against, if you build it, he will come, and like all the major moments in that, I cry sometimes when I watch Field of Dreams.
Oh, when he says, "Hey, Dad, how about a catch?" Everybody, if you got,
if you don't have a heart,
you have ice in your
You're gonna
veins
tear.
if you
Yes.
can't. Everybody played, and some people obviously haven't.
Right.
People lose their dads earlier, but everybody wanted to play catch with their dad.
that's all he ever
And he
wanted.
never really had that chance.
Never did.
The Sandlot or Angels in the Outfield?
That's The Sandlot.
Yeah, I love Angels in the Outfield, but Sandlot is
It's a classic.
because that reminds me. That's how we were as kids. We played tennis, baseball in the streets, at the dead end or whatever. But that's what kids did in the summer. They went and played ball.
Right. In college, my nickname was Squints.
Yes.
And that came directly from The Sandlot. So,
42 or Major League?
me personally, 42. That movie is amazing. I liked Major League, but watching the story of Jackie Robinson, played by who we just lost, actually,
Chad Boswick.
yeah, Chad Boswick. I'm watching that, and that scene where the guy's staying on the
I want them
bench
to
and
know.
he's yelling at him.
that
When he's
one.
yelling at
Yeah.
that scene makes me so infuriating. I just want to walk there and punch that guy in the face. It's just
I do love the scene where he comes, the other player puts his arm around him.
Yes.
It's like, I want them to know.
Yep.
I think Major League is, I would watch Major League over and over. I'll give you 42 on this one. But I love Major League. Major League.
Major League is a good movie. I honestly think Major League got a bad draw to start this. Nothing against you, man. The seeding in this bracket's a little off.
It's tough.
Like it should have been Sandlot versus 42.
This seeding
or something
was
like that.
dependent on not just this was based on a lot of different websites.
Yeah, I'm just saying you put two Disney movies against each other.
Sure.
And so one of the Disney, I don't know if, I love The Sandlot. I don't know if it's better than some of the other ones we've already cut.
Well, now we're gonna have to go Bull Durham straight. Yeah, this is tough because you got Bull Durham and Field of Dreams on the same bracket.
These are my two favorite baseball
You
movies of
got
all
Kevin
time.
Costner against Kevin Costner. I love Field of Dreams, but I am going Bull Durham because I believe that's the best baseball movie ever made.
I would also agree. Bull Durham is. I love Field of Dreams, but I just that Bull Durham movie.
Which now we get Sandlot versus 42, and I am going Sandlot.
You know what? And you're the host, so I think we'll have to defer to you. It's hard for me to pick The Sandlot or 42, but
the thing is, like Sandlot for a kid.
it gets you into baseball.
42 is more of a recent movie too, which I think. But
I
the
agree.
story of Jackie Robinson, great on film, but I almost didn't need it. I already knew.
Right.
All right, Bull Durham versus Sandlot finals.
Bull Durham in a landslide.
Yep, I agree. Bull Durham, greatest
If
baseball
you haven't
movie.
seen it, go check it out.
When people argue and say it's not, I go, have you watched it?
No, you know what they said? I've never seen it.
Greatest baseball movie of all time. I have to say that.
Love Bull Durham.
All right, let's do. All right. we'll save one for last. Let's do greatest Sopranos character.
Main character, right?
Some you might not find as main, but in
Okay.
round one we got Tony Soprano versus Bobby Bacalieri, Carmela Soprano versus Silvio Dante, Christopher Moltisanti versus Johnny Sack, Junior Soprano versus Paulie Galtieri, Tony Soprano versus Bobby. Who you got?
Tony Soprano.
Easy.
We'll go through the motions, but I have a feeling.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Carmela or Silvio?
This is tough. This is out of all this round. This is the toughest one because I can make a case that
Carmela's a great character.
Great character.
You know, Silvio also, but
Silvio is a number 2, and he is a number 2 in this spot. And what's her name? Franco. What's her first name?
Edie Falco.
Edie Falco just nailed it as a character. You see all the changing moments of her through her character, but she never ever deviates from who she is. She's one of the best characters in that show.
So who are you taking?
I'm taking her.
I'll agree. Carmela keeps
is
the family together. She is the one that keeps, her and Tony at the end of season 4 where they're getting the divorce and they're yelling, like that scene, you get goosebumps and you're like, what was it like filming this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. Christopher Moltisanti versus Johnny Sack, and I love Johnny Sack.
I love Johnny Sack too.
But I love Christopher.
As well. Man, I think Christopher, though, he's part of the main crew. He's in more episodes. You follow his whole story. Johnny Sax comes in and out.
Christopher?
I'm going to go with Christopher. We're going to leave Johnny Sax in the cold, like where
what is the UN?
Yeah.
He's so good. This is tough for me. I thought this was the toughest.
Yeah.
Got Junior Soprano versus Paulie.
That is tough. Paulie's good though. Junior is he's a little much.
I love Junior, but I'm not picking against Paulie.
No, I
Not
would.
a chance.
I would pick Paulie too. I like Junior. Paulie's character is just more funny.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on some of his quotes. Like all I can think of is him running.
You ever touch the shoelaces after you've been in the bathroom and it's a little wet? Like all kinds of. Just Paulie was great. This Final Four is kind of wild because you got Tony versus Carmela. It's no brainer. James Gandolfini is my favorite actor.
Yeah, may he rest in
time.
peace. Yeah,
So we're gonna go Tony. Christopher Paulie though. Holy crap! That's hard.
This is hard. I think Paulie's still a better character. Even though like a lot of their scenes, a lot of Christopher's great scenes, Paulie's in it.
They're a 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
like
when they get caught in the woods, I forget who they're chasing in the woods.
Yeah, Pines Barren.
Yeah,
episode, yeah. the Russian.
Yes.
Oh, he's an interior decorator. Oh, his place looked like shit. He wasn't interior. They didn't understand. That episode is probably, a lot of people say, the greatest Sopranos episode of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going Paulie.
I would agree, Paulie.
All right, so you got Paulie versus Tony in the finals. I think it's a no-brainer. I think Tony. There's no show without Tony.
There's no show without Tony. He's good in every episode.
Tony Soprano gets the win. All right, let's see here. What would be another interesting one here? All right, let's just we'll do shows of all time.
All right.
And some people are going to be like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, because maybe we haven't seen the show, though.
Some I haven't.
Yeah.
So, and some shows are left off. And this might not be the greatest shows of all time.
Right. There's no sitcoms on here, is there?
There is.
Oh, okay.
You got Sopranos versus The Walking Dead. You got Breaking Bad versus Oz. And people are going to be like, I can't believe you put Oz on there.
Oh,
Oz is amazing.
Oz gave HBO the power to do what they did, especially in the turn of the 90s to the 2000s.
And they're all rewatchable forever and ever. The Office versus Seinfeld.
That's tough.
The Wire versus, which I've only barely seen a little, and I know I get a lot of flack for ripping on The Wire for never actually seeing it and telling people it sucked, which is not true because I've never actually given it a chance. Or a show that I have really only seen one episode, so I'm going to lean on you a little bit here. Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Sopranos or Walking Dead?
Sopranos. Walking Dead, you went on for far too long, like maybe 4 seasons too long. Well, after season 4, I think. I haven't watched in, 6 years or something like that.
You can't kill every character.
No.
You just can't do that and try to hold your audience.
Right.
And they just started killing people to kill them.
because they had to. They're like, we got to do something new.
Yeah.
I almost stopped watching after season 2. That was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sopranos by a landslide, yeah.
Breaking Bad or Oz?
I've never watched Breaking Bad after this part when the kid's girlfriend dies and he could have saved her.
Yeah, I fell off a little bit.
I stopped watching that. I go, okay, I can cheer for bad guy for so long.
Yeah.
And when I finally see, oh, he's a full bad guy, I had to...
So I know the final episode, and the final episode of Breaking Bad is way better than the end of Oz. Oz, the ending really was frustrating.
I think they were thinking they were going to do something after Oz done, like to maybe like a movie or something like that, and they just never did it.
They should have. I'm going Oz.
I'm gonna go Oz too. Again, I never finished Breaking Bad because at that moment when he's trying to get out and they're like, we're gonna get high one more time, and he just lets her die, and it's too far for me.
The Office or Seinfeld?
See, I didn't watch Seinfeld when it first came out, so I'm leaning The Office.
Yeah.
So don't hate on me for not picking Seinfeld, those people who love Seinfeld, because it's great. I've gone back and watched it. I mean, it made sitcoms to the 90s, but...
Seinfeld is so damn funny. And you can go back and really watch, but I felt The Office was funnier, but I also felt like the characters in The Office were more likable.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Seinfeld characters are not likable people.
No, that's the reason why they go to jail at the end of the show.
I mean, they're just not likable people.
No.
So I got The Office. I'm going to have to lean on you for this one. It's your call, The Wire or Game of Thrones?
Man, I love... The Wire is great. It's one of the best shows of all time. But again, Game of Thrones is awesome too, except for the last season. I'm going to lean Game of Thrones. And the only reason I said against The Wire is because there's a large group of people like you that go, The Wire, don't get it.
It takes a lot to build. I have to give it another chance. It's hard because I was always in shows like Sopranos and Oz, and they smack you in the face right in the first episode. Yep. That show does not.
It does not. It does not. It's one of those things that's a slow build.
Yeah.
There's some really good characters, a lot of good acting. But the fact that it has people that are like you out there, it's hard for me to say it's one of the greatest shows of all time because it can't really bring in everyone.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, you could pick up at season 3 and miss the first couple seasons and get right into it because the characters they killed off didn't matter later. So some of them did, obviously. There's some that actually did, but you can hop in there, just don't watch the last season. It's bad.
A lot of people were disappointed, and I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
This is going to be the toughest one for me, head to head. Sopranos or Oz? I'm going to go Sopranos.
I would also go Sopranos.
There is no Sopranos though without Oz. Are we in agreement on that?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and Sopranos is honestly one of the best shows that has ever made.
I think and we're going to get to that, obviously. The Office or Game of Thrones? And I'm going to let you pick this one.
I'm going to pick The Office.
Wow.
And even though both shows technically had a really, really bad season, what Game of Thrones did in that last season is unforgivable, and I will never allow it to be in the finals.
Now, what's funny is because you say that, Leo Connors, who's the host of The Ring on All Sports, he's been in that seat many times. He hates the ending of Sopranos so much that he can't fathom it even being the best show. I've learned to accept that ending.
Yeah.
And kind of liked it as the years have progressed.
Right. And again, if James Gandolfini isn't cut down so early in life, they could have had the movie and revisited it, and then you would have found out, or something else could have happened. In the end, that ending was not as bad as what Game of Thrones did in that final season.
All right. So here we go. Office or Sopranos. And I'm going Sopranos.
Sopranos is better than The Office as much as The Office is The Office.
I'm gonna look right in the camera right now, and to anybody that has not seen The Sopranos, I don't know what you're doing. There's nothing else in life you should be doing. You need to get that done because it is truly the greatest show of all time, and you don't have shows like today if it wasn't for Sopranos.
Right.
R.I.P. James Gandolfini, greatest actor of all time. All right. Which, I know it's debatable. He only did, but the greatest character is Tony Soprano. I don't care what anybody else says.
Right.
Now, we may just, this may be the last one. We'll see what happens. Greatest wrestler of all time. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, I can't believe this is your final 8. Bruno Sammartino is not even on there, which Bruno, it was a very different time. I don't care if he was champion for so long. Wrestling evolved.
It's easy to hold the title when you defend it once every 5 years, Bruno.
Was Bob Backlund like this great draw?
No.
He was very plain and simple. Howdy doody.
Right.
And he finally took the title off him to get it on to Hogan. So, yes, this is the final 8 based off of intense research.
Right.
Very different websites, and this is who wraps it up. In the first round, we got, and this is crazy right off the bat, because you got Ric Flair versus Bret Hart.
Yep.
Then you have the Macho Man, Randy Savage, versus The Rock.
Oh, jeez.
Then you got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. Then we got Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan.
Oof.
First one, here we go. Ric Flair or Bret the Hitman Hart?
Man, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan, and I would love to say he was better, but he wasn't. No. And Ric Flair was charisma. Ric Flair was also one of the best in-ring performers.
Influenced a generation.
He's still influencing a generation to this day.
If you have rappers in 2016 making songs about you, you probably left a pretty big impact.
Pretty big mark.
Ric Flair is a limousine riding, jet flying, kiss all the pretty girls! That Ric Flair is Ric Flair, and he beats Bret Hart, and I love Bret Hart. We got the Macho Man, Randy Savage, he had to make sure his matches were perfect. Like, if you were to wrestle Randy Savage, you knew he's going to put months into advance into what goes on in this match. But you also have the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock, who went on to bigger things.
He did, and so, if we want to go bigger picture, then yes. But again, Rock and Macho Man, it's funny that they're here together because they were both in the same position at the same time at one point. Macho Man was always second fiddle to Hulk Hogan, and The Rock was second fiddle to Stone Cold Steve Austin. But the Rock and Hogan match at WrestleMania moment is still something that people talk about today.
Oh my God!
Which you also have Randy Macho Man Savage, who had arguably one of the best WrestleMania matches, which is they'll still talk about today.
You also, when you bring up the WrestleMania match, though, Rock went in as the babyface, and the crowd in Toronto just wanted Hulk Hogan.
Right. They didn't want NWO Hogan either.
I have to say, The Rock, so the Macho Man is probably debatably the greatest professional wrestler of all time, but The Rock transcended entertainment. It was to the point where, he only wrestled till full time till he was about 30.
Right.
And then Hollywood came knocking, and now he's the biggest star ever.
Yes.
I feel like Savage had a bigger impact on the business of the wrestling business.
He did. He did have a bigger impact on the wrestling business. I wish, though, a lot of the stuff he did in WCW never happened.
The problem with that was Vince wanted him to be done.
Right.
He wanted to resurrect his career. I loved what he did in WCW, but then he got stuck in the NWO shuffle.
Yeah.
So who you got?
I'm going to take the Macho Man, Randy Savage. I love The Rock and everything.
I'm not going to argue with that. I love Randy Savage. I think means more to wrestling than The Rock. The Rock means more to entertainment as a whole, and it's just and I'm sure he's going to have a star on the Hollywood Walk.
I think he already does. And honestly, though, Macho Man might have actually headlined 2 WrestleManias as well. I think The Rock WrestleMania.
The Rock, Macho won the tournament WrestleMania 4.
So he headlined that one
with Hogan at 5.
Yeah.
Face Flair at 8, but they weren't. They were
the
title
main
match.
Event.
They weren't the main event.
They weren't in the last match, right? It was
Sid
and Hogan,
unfortunate.
which was stupid.
Then he didn't wrestle at 9. They had him on commentary. WrestleMania 10, he wrestled Crush. So, The Rock, WrestleMania main events, I think 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Because 16, he was in the Fatal 4. Then it was back to Austin. But then I don't think he had another main event after that. I mean, obviously, again, co-main events. The last match is the main event.
That's the main event.
CM Punk's always said that, and I agree. Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Undertaker, who just retired in his late 50s. The Undertaker's body of work is unbelievably long. Stone Cold's is like a knot.
No, it's 5 years.
So
it's.
I'm going to put longevity in this. So
yeah, I agree. I think that I would love to say that Austin is. You didn't do it for long enough. Your neck injury, that Owen Hart, God rest his soul,
he's
caused.
Done, yeah, he dropped him on his neck, and Stone Cold's done before he's even 40.
Yes. The Undertaker, though, is one of the greatest acts of all time. He has gone on, 3 decades?
Yeah.
It's hard to argue.
I'm going with The Undertaker. Stone Cold is, the greatest, one of the greatest on the mic.
Yep.
He made probably, in the spike of wrestling money-wise, but I got to go Undertaker.
Right.
Shawn Michaels or Hulk Hogan?
My gut says Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to pick against HBK.
HBK, the showstopper. Mr. WrestleMania, the main event.
Yep.
More talented in the ring than Hogan, but Hogan was a draw that will never be duplicated. I was a Hulkamaniac growing up, a little Hulkamaniac. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. I can't go against Hulk Hogan.
No.
I can't.
My gut says Hulk Hogan.
All right, so now we're going to get into the semifinals here, and we got the Nature Boy.
Woo!
We got a Macho Man.
Dig it!
Faced at WrestleMania 8. Should have been Hogan versus Flair at WrestleMania 8, but we'll save that for another day. Who you got? Flair or Savage?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair is Ric Flair.
Yep.
He is.
Yep.
I mean, you want to ride Space Mountain.
Yeah.
As much as Randy Savage, I love him, you can't go against Flair.
You can't go against how many time?
16-time world heavyweight champion.
Woo!
So we got Flair in the finals. I got Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan. Now, true story. Undertaker made me cry during Survivor Series 91 when he beat Hogan.
That's true.
I mean, that's emotion right there.
That's emotion.
I was only in second grade, just so people know I wasn't the adult I am now.
His longevity is equal to Hulk Hogan's.
Yeah. Who you got?
Hulk Hogan. And this is the only that we talked
agree.
about longevity in the last one for The Undertaker
and
him recreating himself and things like that to beat Austin. Hulk Hogan did the same thing. Hulk Hogan started in the 70s. He wrestles at a couple of matches.
They broke his leg on the day that he started training.
And he came back. It's Hulk Hogan.
The Undertaker's longevity, it's hard to duplicate that, what he did to come back for WrestleMania after WrestleMania after WrestleMania. But Hulk Hogan probably is the biggest star. I'm going to take The Rock out of this equation, but he's probably the biggest star that wrestling's ever created.
Right.
As much as he's kind of shown that he's kind of a piece of shit over the years.
Right.
Hogan, you're kind of a piece of shit. But Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan? This is tough.
In the end, Hulk Hogan was, and Ric Flair would agree that he is the best wrestler. He is one of the better on the mics, but he was not Hulk Hogan.
No, he wasn't.
And Hulk Hogan is who he is. The person himself, Terry Bollea,
Jerk.
Don't really care for him. Huge jerk. I will never go to your stupid shop down in Tampa, Florida. But he's
Hulk Hogan is the greatest
He
professional wrestler of all time. So that is that. Hulk Hogan takes it. What a great show. This has been a lot of fun, Bobby.
Yes.
I think we're going to do more stuff like this because it's a fun debate.
Yeah.
But everybody, keep your heads up. Enjoy the new year. Soapy pre-op. Shut your mouth. We're going to come find you. We're not going to come.
We want an apology.
You need to apologize. We're tired of this.
I'm sick of having to fast forward. I have to fast forward the Morse Code podcast every time you talk, and then make sure I go back and get what has been said because I can't listen to you, and we will not stand for this.
No, Soapy, knock it off. But until next time, everybody, let freedom ring.